Hello world, it's your boy DaVizion. We got to talk about Will and Chris Rock at the Oscars. Now we've all had better part of a night to sleep on it, and also most of the day to be inundated with it everywhere. Now, for those of you that follow me, you know I was one of the first to share a video on it last night and kind of tell you what was going on. But to rewind, Chris Rock was hosting the Oscars, and he was saying a bunch of jokes, and he made a particularly unfunny joke regarding Jada Pinkett Smith having a bald head. Now, hindsight is 2020, and come to find out she struggled with alopecia, and that is why she goes bald sometimes. But this is not the first time we've seen Jada. Actually, some of her better roles are with short hair, right? Low Down Dirty Shame, Demon Night, you know. But he made a joke, and initially it looked like Will laughed it off, and Jada didn't. Jada rolled her eyes. And then you see Will walk up, and he knows it's inappropriate because he says, all right, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. And somehow insinuating that I could have dug deeper. I could have talked about the August Alsina thing maybe, or I could have talked about entanglements. Like he alluded to this. And then Will walks up, he gets up, walks down the aisle, and he pauses for a second and then smacks him and then walks back. And then you can see on his face what could be construed as a smile, but I really think it was a grimace and a smirk. And also, Will is so tuned in to his image and everything that I think it was like but it was almost like, F it, I'm in it now, so I might as well just do what I do. Chris Rock, for all intents and purposes, he kept it moving. He said Will Smith smacked the S out of me. And then that's when Will can be heard yelling, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. And then, And then he says it louder. Keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. And he says, all right, dude. You know, and Chris is trying to he's making a plea, but I don't think he's really talking to Will. Because brother to brother, you know you will foul. But he's talking to the audience. He's trying to get people on his side. Like, it was just a G.I. Jane joke. All right, man. But, all right, I'm not going to give you my opinion yet. And then they go to break. And now all of this can be seen on the foreign feeds because, to their credit, the Oscars immediately stopped the broadcast. They went silent, and they tried to recoup it. Shout out to Ryan Coogler. Up until that point, and even afterwards, it was a wonderful show. Shout out to a brother, actually, being a director, and I'm sure that was because they were planning to give Will the Best Actor award, and then all of this happened. Now, there's still a small percentage of people that don't believe it. I'm one of them, kind of. I'm still not sure what I'm seeing here. But I'm not going to play conspiracy theory. I haven't done enough research. So I'm going to talk about this in terms of as it happened and if it was real. So let's go back to 2016 when Jada Pinkett started the movement, Oscars So Black, boycott the Oscars. Now, this is almost proverb, the fact that actors and actresses of color have been excluded from the Oscars for a very, very long time. So they started this movement, and Chris Rock mentioned it. Now, unfortunately, for a minority to host an event like the Oscars or something else, I'm just saying this for what it is. A lot of times there has to be a certain level of coonery, and we see that. And he touched on it and basically said, hey, Jada, no one invited you, so no one cares what you have to say. And he likened it to him being invited to Rihanna's panties. I get comedians are funny, but that's disrespectful. And I'm going to tell you something. In our community, it's very disrespectful. The only thing that's more disrespectful is for someone to talk about your mama. And judging by what Will has gone through, and I'm not defending Will. I don't agree with what he did, but I understand it, because you cannot control somebody's reaction. You can only control your actions. And with what went on in 2016, now we don't know what happens between these people behind the scenes. They're all stars. They all know each other, whatever. There's different levels, though, and Will is in a different stratosphere. I'm not going to get into whether Will would have done that to The Rock or somebody else. I think whoever it was and whoever was being foul would have got checked, and Chris got checked. And unfortunately, he got checked on a great night for Will. And see, and that's my concern. You know, as the host, Will is going to get this award. Everyone knows. That's garbage if you think these people don't know what's about to happen. So you know Will's about to get that award. And you choose to roast him. And you're roasting him knowing that him and his wife have gone through all these problems with her cheating and the infidelity and the fact that she, basically marched him up on TV in order for the world to hear her tell him this. And quite honestly, I mean, Will's image is so carefully crafted, and his family has done everything they can to tear that down. I'm being 100, man, and you can comment and tell me what you think. I mean, from Jaden's escapades, Willow with the older men and all that kind of stuff, and Jada, I don't know what's going on with Jada between the Botox and the entanglements and I don't know, baby. I'm sorry, honey. I don't know. Maybe you're just looking for other income streams, or maybe you're just living your life out loud. Some things are not for the public, and your husband is a brand, and your behavior and what you're doing is affecting his brand. And you gotta think about that, because look at where it's gotten him. Look at where you've pushed this man who is, again, this is Will. He's the best of us, right? One of them. And to see him having to be consoled and almost scolded in a way from Denzel and Tyler, and then to have Bradley Cooper have to, hug you and do all that. The man is going through something. The man is there's a line that was crossed, and the man is attempting to keep himself in check. I want you to read his book. Wonderful book. I actually purchased it, and it talks about how he feels like a coward. And all of us who don't give in to our base desires have that feeling. We feel like cowards when we don't degenerate down to a base level and just fight everyone who we disagree with. And you're always told to be the bigger person. You're always told to rise above situations. But yet you see the people that don't do that held in high regard. It's not about their story of redemption. It's always about, oh, you used to be a bad man. You used to whoop this, and you used to do this, and I get it from a man who's worked for decades to keep himself in check, to always do and say the right thing. He had a moment, kind of like when Jay-Z had a moment when he stabbed, on Rivera, right? I mean, everyone has a moment. And guys that work on that level, that was his moment. And I'm not making up for him, but I understand it. And as much as everyone wants to kind of pick a side, there's no sides to be picked here. But I want you to look at the individual. You don't judge a man by a moment, you judge him by the measure of his character. And Will has never done anything like this in his life. And for those of you who are saying, yeah, that's right, and he shouldn't, he's human. He's human, and I dare you to judge him. Go out there and deal with 10% of the spotlight that he deals with. Not for the money, but the 10% of the spotlight that he deals with. And then tell me if you're going to be as restrained as Will is throughout his entire life. I just don't believe it. And the man had a moment, and he's allowed a moment. And he made his speech, and he was very transparent. I think everything about him came out. And I'm proud of him, to be honest with you. I'm proud that he was able to come back. Of course, he didn't apologize to Chris. While I think he may have been apologetic, he can't. There's litigation that's going to happen later on. He's going to have to settle out of court. This is going to cost him a few million. He has a great PR team. I'm sure the PR team will spin it depending on how much the other side wants to push. I think for what I'm seeing, this will go away in a couple news cycles. If it doesn't, then you're going to see a PR team that probably is going to come out and say, Will was defending his wife, which you're already seeing. And you're going to see that narrative, or that's right, you know, black men aren't defending the black woman. She doesn't feel protected, and that's what he's doing. He's protecting this black woman, and we need to just understand that. We'll have to deal with some kind of repercussions, because you don't want kids and people watching this to feel you can just walk up and smack people. So he's going to deal with some repercussions. I don't think it's going to deal with his pockets as much. I mean, he got his Oscar. If they were going to have a repercussion at that point, he wouldn't have got his Oscar, and they would have ended it right there. So I think he's going to be okay. I think it's going to go on. There's probably going to be some kind of public display of solidarity after this. And anytime Chris Rock in the future, if he ever hosts anything again, he'll keep his name out his mouth. Believe me. It's unnecessary. I feel it's unnecessary. If you're a comedian and you've reached the precipice, which is to host an event like the Oscars, those are cheap laughs. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. Those are cheap laughs, Chris. You're better than that. You should have read the room, and I don't think you did. I think you used your familiarity racially to be able to jab the guy, and you shouldn't have. You're better than that. I think you've come too far to degenerate back to that. And there's lessons to be learned from all sides. But, you know, you guys tell me what you think. This is just my opinion on what I've seen. But again, you're going to see a PR. If this doesn't go away, you're going to see a PR nightmare about, body shaming and shaming her hair. And they can turn it and really make Chris Rock look like he literally has horns. So I think Chris Rock, if his PR team is smart enough, they're going to say, you know what? Let it go. Let it go. You don't want them looking at you under a microscope, Chris. But what do you guys think? Comment, share, like, subscribe. It's DaVizion. I'll see you later.